Hey everybody, welcome back. We are getting ready to listen to Chris Rupp. This actually like over released over 4 months ago, and I'm like, I really need to get back to it, and I keep forgetting and keep forgetting. But we need to finish reacting to the history of home free. This one is part 5. I believe this is the last one. It's got Austin and Tim in it, just like part 4. It's a continuation of that. And honestly, I know there was a cliffhanger, but I can't remember what the cliffhanger was. But let's go ahead and get into it and see how they wrap up the history of home free.
So they were like, "We're offering you like national television," and that's how like sticking to my guns I was. I was like,
Still not
"No,
interested.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that like this acapella thing anymore." Um, so when it came up with you guys, it's like, you got to be kidding me. But like,
I did. I can't remember the cliffhanger, but I didn't realize he was like this adamant about not doing a cappella anymore, knowing in advance that the groups that you may be joining are going to be on national television one way or the other, and still saying, nope, I don't think so. Because even if he didn't feel the group, and I'm not saying he felt this way about any of the groups, but even if he felt the group wasn't the best, it's still exposure for him, depending on what his goals are and how many profundo, I can't say that part right. How many super bases are there? I mean, we've got a hand a handful of guys that are well known, and then there's the other set of guys that are on the outside circle of that. So there's probably, if you look on YouTube, there's probably 20 you could name, whether you think they're good or not. Uh, but you've got Tim Faust, you've got Avi Kaplan, Joff Castellucci, we've got Peter Barber, Adam. I don't know if Adam's considered a Adam Chance. I don't know if he's considered a super bass, but he does sing pretty low. If down at down to the honky tonk, he does super low there. Folsom Prison Blues, he does pretty low. He does low in Mayday. So I don't know if he's considered a super bass, but he can get low. I was trying to, that's 5 off the top of my head that I know by name. And then you've got some of your fellas that are the generation before that inspired these guys that I just mentioned. So there aren't a there there aren't a lot of good super bases. And so even if he felt the group itself was not the best for him, he's still turning down that national exposure of the range that he can do, because we also know he can go super high as well. And he's been working on that through the years. I don't know how big his range was at sing off time period. He was working on it before the sing off, though. We know that. And didn't he sing high in the Pretty Woman song? He did low and high in that one, I think. There's a couple of them that he went high and low because Jewel commented on it. But at any rate, he's been working on it through the years for his range, but he had a pretty good range even at the time of the sing off. So he still could have had national exposure for his skills, and he was still turning that down. That's just wild. Even if he didn't want to stay in the a cappella world, depending on did he want to keep writing songs? If he wanted to just write them and not sing them, then okay, maybe I could understand. But it's like, what were your goals, Tim? What were they? I think he's getting ready to tell us, though.
Make
oh,
it
see,
over.
all right. So it was all twisted in my mind. I thought we were going out of I thought the same thing. I swear to God, we got on the ship in Newark, but we must not have.
And so I pushed the guys, and I said, guys, let's just do the audition. It's going to be in New York. It's fine. And that's
well, and we always
All for a girl.
Well, again, we're so oblivious to like how marketable
Woo,
country is
little,
and how country
little jiggle with the
people,
video there.
guys. Yeah, the cast here's an idea. What if you guys are like the token country group? And of course, I'm like, no. This is what she said. This is what she said. She goes,
You never want to be the token person, the token group, the token whatever. You don't want to be the token.
what's your next song gonna be? And don't say Train or Jason Mraz. Literally, it's a Train song, and she falls over the table, just dramatic. And then she's like,
for that, we did it again with
we
you
probably
the second time.
probably.
We did that at the Luke Bryan
No, because
show.
we did it at the corporate.
What song are we talking about?
We've never done it. That's what you guys are telling me. Like, we haven't done this before, but you're singing this for this thing.
What song is it?
We only sang it once. We didn't sing it at the Luke Bryan thing.
Were you at the Luke Bryan thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what song they're talking about. Tell me what song we're talking about.
Would you please learn "We Shall Be Free" by Garth Brooks? And we said,
Oh, okay.
okay, we go out there, and of course, me singing lead, I'm just like, I don't remember these lyrics at all. You know how terrible I am at this.
Colder Weather Memory Lapse? Is that the name of the video?
I can almost guarantee you'll be on the show.
Yeah.
And we had to chew on that.
Wow.
On the cruise ship, and there was much.
Talk about twisting the arm. Saying mercy. Mercy, mercy. Okay, we'll do country. Purdy's just waiting for me to lean back so she can get my lap.
About 10 million viewers for the first episode of season 4, and it was like, I can't really turn that down. So, but remember, we were like, guys,
Yeah.
we're a country group after this. If we do this, like, that's just it. There's no going back. And I was always like, guys, we can be a country group. We can do whatever we want to and call it country. Yeah. Folks will love us. All we gotta do is be ourselves, and we'll call it country.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I mean, Austin has nailed it as far as, yes, their accents come through. Even the Minnesotan boys come across as sounding country when they're singing the songs because they do it, the country tropes when they're singing, the diphthongs and all that. It's not a diphthong. I gotta look up that word and see if I'm using it appropriately. But the dips and the cries and everything in between, the growls, they've got the country in there, but they do sing any genre. If it's a song they like, it doesn't matter what genre it is, they're going to make it theirs. Boys to Men, they've done rap. If you look at the Butts remix, if you look at Country Fried, look at all the different genres that are in that song. Megan Trainor, you know, they do sing things other than country, and I think that's one reason why they're so loved is because they are so universal in what they do, even though they're billed as country.
We ended up doing it. Thank God I got outvoted.
Yeah.
It worked out.
So
I grew up thinking I don't like country music because people would make fun of me for it. You know, it took me kind of coming into my own to be like.
That's a shame that they made fun of him for it. But that being said, I got made fun of for some of the clothing I wore, like my fake snakeskin pants, black snakeskin pants. They were fake. I loved them. I wore them all the time, but I got made fun of all the time for them. Dirty Dancing shorts. I got made fun of for wearing those. I'd roll my jeans doing the wide roll rather than the skinny roll. I did the skinny roll also, but I got called waiting for high water all the time. So it's a shame they made fun of him for his singing, but kids are mean and don't know what they're talking about. Although I still suck at fashion, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Take the vowels out and change them.
Yeah, because I went to college for music theater, and then all through.
And somebody was talking about this when I was talking about how Southern he sang in the one song, in his song, Earned It. Earn it, earn it. I said, boy, his Southern is really coming out. And they were like, well, he's from Georgia. And I was like, yeah, but sometimes our Southern is not as strong. Our Southern adjusts. I'm Southern. I'm not as Southern as I used to sound because when I was 11, we moved up north. And so I lost a lot of my accent when we moved up north. But now I'm back in the South again. And depending on who I'm talking to, sometimes it'll really come out. When I'm tired, it really comes out. So it just all depends. But I remember somebody in the comments of that video, I think it was that video that I reacted to, was talking about how in college he was trying to sound more of that Midwestern sound, which they do for television and radio and all that kind of stuff. They want that Midwestern sound because it's I guess, the least accenty of the US. And so it makes you more widely available. I can understand that with musicals and that sort of thing too. You don't want to sound country if you're in Into the Woods or something like that. So move it back just a little.
I had to learn how to lose my accent whenever I was on stage in a production.
This shit didn't work, just so you know.
No,
It didn't work. When he was trying to grip, do you remember every once in a while he would say something,
Yeah.
and all of the rest of you would turn and look at me, and I would have to translate.
My first year out of college, I worked in Statesville, North Carolina, and so I was doing a substance abuse group, and I think we were just checking in, or it wasn't just one group, it was over several groups. I had this one individual in the group. I could not understand a word he said. He would talk and he would laugh at what he said, and the rest of the group would laugh, and I'd laugh, and I would say, "What did he say?" And the group sometimes were able to tell me what he said, and sometimes they didn't know what he said. We were just laughing along with him. But even though he was from the same area, his accent was just so thick. You just couldn't understand him. So sometimes the group could help me, sometimes they couldn't. I have problems with intake comprehension. That's part of my dyslexia. So I don't always hear words correctly to begin with. And so when somebody's got a really thick accent, it makes it really hard. So anytime I'm calling customer service or something like that, and the person I'm talking to has a thick accent, I feel so bad when I have to say, I'm sorry, what was it you said? I hate that. I hate making them feel awkward about what they're saying as well. Mainly because, when I was 11 and moved up north, I stopped talking for 6 months because nobody could understand me. So, what was the point in talking? So, so I kind of know how it feels not being heard in what you say. And so I hate saying, what was that you said? But I don't always hear things correctly. And that's why I repeat a lot and try to make sure I'm hearing what somebody's saying and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's funny that they turned to Tim and asked the Texan what the Georgian said.
And same thing with country music, it was like I just got to a point where, I'm trying to like find my independence as a human, and country was my parents' music. So I was like,
Ah,
pop music is where it's at.
try to
So
get
I
away
can
from
deal with
what
the
the
pop
parents are
singers.
doing.
The hell.
And every day I sound like and I have the mannerisms of my mother, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like her. So I get that as well. Trying to do the complete opposite of your parents, I get it.
Just in a video, just like camera. Just
they want it
like,
live.
Just,
They
yeah,
want it
just,
to get,
just live, right? No editing, no nothing, just an acoustic mic.
If you can do it in a couple days, that'd be great.
Right, but they want it. They're like, we want it now. So
we were in Vegas
On the
when they
spot.
called me to tell me that. Text everybody.
So what did they
They
pick?
picked the
we
song,
sang
or
it.
did we?
No, we didn't.
We picked the
Yeah.
song.
It was on the church.
It was and it was Hunter Hayes' most recent release at the time. I Want Crazy. And
Oh, I
remember,
went crazy.
we
Okay.
learned it.
that's cool to see the audition tape. You could tell they were trying to learn it fast, and it definitely sounds better having more time to prep it that they when they did it on the show. Hi, baby. It's not a favorite song of mine to begin with, so the song itself, I really don't care for. So I don't watch reactors reacting to that song very often. But yeah, you can tell in that audition tape they're still trying to get their groove with it.
I mean, you can like, all right, I guess we're gonna be the first ones kicked off with your hairs, you know?
The first one's kicked off. And when I talk to people all the time in counseling, one of the things I always told them is kind of a mantra, which is hope for the best, expect the worst, and you'll probably get something in the middle. So if you take the best scenario, the worst scenario, and then what would be a mediocre scenario, you're probably going to get the mediocre. That way, you're not going to get disappointed either way as long as you prep yourself in all these different ways. So saying that doesn't matter, they're on the show, they'll be the first ones kicked off. They're trying to keep their expectations low. so so they don't get too hurt. I understand. Somebody's got to get kicked off first, and nobody wants to really be that group.
So many acts go on reality TV, never to be seen again.
Yeah. Like,
That's true too.
none of the original Home Free was there.
So
And what nuts that, and we figured.
Well, that's cool that the gigs that they had still got something. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. They got something,
Okay, then we can do the video. This makes sense. This works. And
but then they won.
And I was like, we're definitely leaving because they wanted us to do a few things, and we were just like those guys on the show who just kept being like, no.
But they may say why they were saying no. I know they do that song for the Butts remix, the Shake It For Me. So I wonder what their reasoning is for not doing it on the national show. And is it because it's about booty and girls shaking it for me? I know the guys try to be respectful of women and be careful about not extorting. Is that the word? I'm blanking on words. I do know they try to be careful of how they portray women and that sort of thing. So is that the reason why they said no when the producers were like, do this one? Will they say why they said no?
yeah, we killed it, and
No, they're not going to say why.
All right, we kind of stood out. But at the time, you're in it,
yeah.
and it's reality television.
You never know what's going to happen, and it is hard to judge things when you're personally involved and not on the outside looking in. It's hard to judge things, but they did stand out.
You guys opened your mouths on cruise. Like, oh, well, there's the winner of this season.
I always felt like we were fired.
I actually have a shot at this.
Yeah.
But then it's like, wait, do we want to win this?
Yeah.
We went back and forth so much.
And that is a good question. Do you want to win it? Because there is so much in those contracts that you sign, and you're tied into that stuff, and it's hard to get out of it. They talked about it on Idol about all the restrictions and that kind of stuff, everything that they had to do.
Being like, should we win this? Because we got to sign this contract if we win this. Do
Yep.
we want to do that?
I always laugh how the producers tried to make it more dramatic than it was, but for us it was like acapella summer camp.
Absolutely.
So much fun with everybody.
And there is an a cappella camp type thing that they've participated in a lot and supported and gone and talked to and that sort of thing. I forget the name of it, but I think it's in Minnesota. But there is an a cappella school that they do support or in the past have supported.
To say, hey, you have to just destroy the other group this week, and everybody be like, no.
Yeah, whenever we did reality. But, if it comes down to both of you guys, which one of you is going home? I'm like, neither. I'm like, because after this performance, I promise you it won't be either one of us. And she's like, it's
And it was awesome. It was awesome. They both did so well in it.
And I was like, well, no matter what happens, we ain't going nowhere. Thinking like they'll never use that. And then they
And they
freaking used
did.
it on national television.
We ain't going nowhere.
Just sitting there.
I swear to God,
Oh,
it was
emotional.
over 5 minutes for sure of us just being like,
Yeah.
and then Nick would be like,
That
and
would
it's
kill
gonna
me.
be.
I don't have the patience for that. I'm like, just say it. Just get it out. Just say it. Just do it. My feet are killing me. Let's go. I would not have the patience for it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
prednisone. I was on the steroid, and the
prednisone.
doctor was like, "Look, you're gonna be emotional. Just don't worry about it." Because I blew up,
Again,
and that was
camera
whenever I
blocking.
still thought that I could just show up and sing, you know.
Well, and not just
And
that.
not have to like,
We were just like, whatever you want, Mr. Producer. Please let us stay on this show.
Yeah.
But I'm a grown man. I'm gonna go get a haircut, and you can process your emotions about that.
or like, and they were like, "No, grow it out. It's gonna be fine. I was looking great. It's looking great." 2 weeks later, the day of the show, they're like, "Shave."
Why didn't they make you grow out? Like, why didn't they ask you to grow out your stubble? I said, they did. It's been growing ever since, and this is all, and it's still patchy. Well, and some of the family members of the other groups had become home free fans. You remember? Like Joe's sister from Philharmonic was actually like a home free fan at that point.
Yeah.
A little awkward. Oh, and we're at the end.
And I know someday it'll all turn out.
Oh, they are going to do an episode 6. It's crazy all of the behind the scenes of those type of shows and what the producers expect, what the contracts have in them, what you're allowed to do, not allowed to do, all that kind of stuff. And just as in our everyday work lives, the people that are making the decisions are not the ones who are having to do the job. And one of the rules that we have right now for my job is we're not allowed to have more than 8 seconds of silence on the phone. And I was like, sometimes it's therapeutic to have a good silence in there. It's not an awkward silence, it's a thinking about things silence. And sometimes that goes longer than 8 seconds. Who's the moron that said you can't have more than 8 seconds of silence? Basically, they want to make sure that the other person knows we haven't hung up on them or something. And I'm like, yeah, trust me, they know whether we've hung up or not. Yeah, the people making the decisions have no idea what the people on the front lines are actually doing. And so that comment that Austin was saying about, they don't understand what's needed to have healthy vocals and healthy mind and all that kind of stuff. Tim said it also. So just crazy, 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 crazy. And I didn't realize that they're going to do an episode 6. So I guess any of the future episodes are going to be from the sing off, what's happened since then, and all the craziness from there. Thank you all for joining me on this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.